Good evening and welcome to Feedback. Well, tonight we are talking about the status of the Carlson Library on the Clarion University campus. We have a lot of students watching us now on campus, so we thought we'd give you that update, and we're talking trivia. Feedback starts now. Good evening and welcome to this Wednesday edition of Feedback. I am Mark Despotakis. Coming up on tonight's show, a lot of you have seen it. There's a lot of you students out there have seen it and have been waiting anxiously for its completion. The Carlson Library on the university campus. We're going to be talking about that. Claire Heidler from Clarion University Facilities Planning is joining me tonight. We are going to be talking to him in just a little bit about what's going on with the renovations. Also coming up later in the show, Knowledge in a Nutshell is going to be the subject. We have a series of books here by Charles Richbloom, Knowledge in a Nutshell on popular products, the Heinz edition, and Knowledge in a Nutshell on sports. I talked to him on the phone last week. We're going to be showing that interview with him coming up. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be speaking with Claire Heidler from Facilities Planning about the status of the Carlson Library. Stay with us. Feedback continues after the break.
Through a grant by Fox's Pizza Den. Fox's Pizza Den is located on Old Route 66 in Clarion and offers all-day delivery. Phone 226-5555. That's 226-5555. Fox's Pizza Den is open 7 days a week for your convenience. Phone 226-5555.
Wardrobe for some TV5 news anchors, provided by Fashion Bug, located in the Clarion Mall. Whether you're looking for junior trendy, girls, or fashion for women, they have it all, with many different styles. Fashion Bug also offers a wide selection of accessories. Fashion Bug is located in the Clarion Mall, just off of Exit 9 of Interstate 80. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. till 9 p.m., and Sunday from noon till 5.
This portion of the program was made possible through a grant from Clarion Hospital. Clarion Hospital is located off of Exit 9 of Interstate 80. Clarion Hospital offers outpatient services, transitional care, as well as an emergency room open around the clock every day of the year. More than 400 employees and 80 physicians work to serve the community. Call the Clarion Hospital at 226-9500. Clarion Hospital, providing health care to Clarion County and surrounding communities since 1954.
Do you want complete coverage of local, state, national, and international news as it happens?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to TV5 News Live.
Then tune in to Clarion's very own TV5 News Live for complete coverage of the Clarion area and our world. TV5 News crews join with crews from the world's news leader, CNN, to provide complete coverage of the day's events. With advanced satellite capabilities, TV5 News can bring you the latest news as it happens. So tune in every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings for Clarion's very own TV5 News Live.
Welcome back to Feedback. Tonight we are talking renovations at the Carlson Library. I'm sure you've seen it. When I came back to campus this year, I was actually kind of in awe. It looked totally different from what I remembered. the Carlson Library. It's a changing building here on campus. Claire Heidler from Clarion University Facilities Planning is joining us. I basically wanted to have you down here. Give us a progress check. Where are we right now, and how are we doing with the renovations?
The whole project is running very, very well. We're on schedule. It looks like we will start moving back into the library in late December, after the semester break begins over the holidays. And that process will essentially go for a period of time. For the library itself, we hope to have reference and circulation relocated back to the library, and the books over at Nair, they're there, should be back in the library, and we will be functioning in the library right after midwinter break.
Does that mean that students are going to be able to come into the library at that point? I mean, we're going to be able to start getting the materials out?
That's correct. When things go back over there over midwinter break, when we open back up, we hope at this point to have that, at least ref and circ, back in operation, and some other library functions as well. Of course, that's going to start in December when we begin to move office furniture in and take care of getting the study furniture in, and a number of things, and we'll continue compact shelving, and we'll continue on through up until midwinter break, when we actually do some moves that will allow us to essentially afford the opportunity of reference and circulation anyway, and some other functions out of the library. Moving on toward April, some of the other books will be established on and the shelving will come in and be established on the second and third floors. The art gallery will move over there right after midwinter break. And then finally, the third component, library science, now occupying this building on a temporary basis. They will move in after during the spring-summer break, so that by the summer the library will be fully functional, up and running, and all of these temporary facilities that we've been occupying over the past year will be given back over and reconfigured, fully reconfigured to their original purpose.
We were talking, it was about a year ago to this point, you were here talking with me about what was going to happen. And, you know, looking back on the project now, you know, is there anything has there been any problems along the way, that's something you said, oh, geez, you know, we had to rethink this, or generally from minute one, has this been on schedule?
It's been pretty much on schedule. A lot of people got concerned back when they had as I'm sure everyone knows, had the fire earlier on, and it turns out that it was in a stairwell shaft, elevator shaft. And as it turns out, that didn't hold us up, because much of the material that suffered fire damage was going to be replaced anyway, and became just part of the demolition process. So that didn't hold us back. Issues during the course of the project, nothing abnormal, nothing out of the ordinary. You normally have coordination issues to make sure the job is advancing on schedule, and those did come up. But of all the projects that I've worked here at Clarion, I'd say this has probably been one of the smoothest for its size that I've seen. It's gone very, very well.
Well, like I said in the open here, when I came back, it was just amazing. I couldn't. The facade was totally different. And you're saying that it's inside, they're almost ready to go, or they're getting, it looks good inside now.
The outside belies exactly what's going on the inside. They have all the ceiling grid in, and they got their ceiling tile a couple of days ago. They'll be dropping that ceiling tile in. Carpet is scheduled to start being placed on all the floors, beginning in the lower portions of the library, beginning Wednesday, this Wednesday. It's rapidly coming to conclusion. The walls have been painted, most of them. I won't say it's winding down, because when you get within 3 months of the conclusion of the project, there are always those sorts of issues that come up. But again, very smooth, and it looks like we're on schedule.
Cost, any issues, any overruns, and even in that fire, did the fire, you know, hurt anything? Did it say? I mean, did you have to go and buy some things that were burned in the fire? I mean, the fire wasn't obviously too terrible, but was there any cost problems really with that even?
No. As I said, most of the materials were going to be replaced anyway, and were in the job to begin with, so that was in the bid price. No, the cost, of course, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania funded the vast majority of the project, and right on budget. And we've got hopefully we can keep it that way between now and December when we start moving in.
What can we look for? What give us the why should we use a library? Obviously, we should use a library to learn something, but other than that, why should we come up and see this great new library?
Well, I think we're all very excited about it. I'm very proud of some of the capabilities that library will offer. Of course, as you know, and I might have referred to earlier, we've got the library and the library staff in there with all of the volumes. All of the entire collection will be back in there. We also have an art gallery, which will be relocated from Marwick Boyd, and then we've got the library science department. We've got computer labs. We have we'll have installed wireless capability for the facility. A great deal of technology has been folded into the library, and we're just extremely pleased. We're very proud of the kind of capabilities and the resources that building will offer.
So we're all familiar with what the building used to be. What is actually, kind of give us a thumbnail sketch of kind of what has happened now, or have you added onto the building, kept what we had and remodeled inside that, and how much has been added on?
We added 28,000 square feet additional space. What has been added on was essentially expanding three sides of the building. For the 2 and 3 floors, depending on which perspective you're looking at. We completely renovated the existing portions of the library. You wouldn't recognize it now. Made it a lot more open. Also, the configuration of the library is such that you don't get lost in the maze of stairwells and everything as you move around, and you can't figure out what floor you're really on or going to. All of that has been simplified. The whole design concept was built around the idea that when you stepped on a floor, and with the help of the signage that we're installing, when you step on a floor, you will know exactly where you are and have a good indication of where you need to go to find out what you need to know. Staff has been organized under the leadership of Mr. McGinn, the Dean of Libraries, to make sure that there is help there. And with that and the technology that's folded into the library, I think you'll find it a much easier place to use, a much friendlier place to use.
Great. Well, then we can look for that starting at the beginning of the new year, I guess, once we...
Well, beginning of the new year, as I say, we'll start moving things in. It's a long, involved process because we've got 400,000 volumes that are spread in various buildings.
And we'll start to see it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You'll begin to see it as we begin to move furniture in. Hopefully by midwinter break, you'll really see it. And by the time June rolls around, everyone will be in there. Everything will be back to normal. And those facilities we've been temporarily occupying, we'll have those squared away as well.
Great. Claire Heiler from Facilities Planning, thank you for joining us and giving us a hit.
Glad to be here.
We will be back after this. We're talking trivia after the break. Stay with us. Feedback continues.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I am
An American.
I am an American.
I am American.
I am an American.
I'm an American. I'm an American.
I am American.
I am an American.
I'm an American.
I am an American.
I'm an American.
tools needed to rebuild lives after a disaster aren't always hammers and nails. The tools needed to give warmth to the homeless in the store. When lives need rebuilding, the Salvation Army knows it takes tools that come from the heart. Donate online or call 1-800-SALARMY.
You'd never know it on the battlefield, but nearly half of today's military are National Guard and reservists. However, they can't answer our nation's call without their employer's support. If you're an employer, visit esgr.org and find out how to do your part. After all, their response depends on yours.
You're watching TV5 with Zeta Tau Alpha.
Welcome back to Feedback. In this segment, we're going to be talking trivia. There's all these interesting facts out there, and the person I'm going to be talking to in a minute decided to put them all in some books. Here's one for you. I'm going to show you the books in a second, but what are the two most popular items at grocery stores? Well, according to the book here, according to the company that tracks total purchases at supermarkets and grocery stores in the U.S., the most popular item is Coca-Cola Classic in 2-liter bottles, and the second most popular item is Star-Kissed tuna. So those things that are always on your shopping list, apparently it's on a lot of people's shopping lists. That's just one of the facts that's in this book, Knowledge in a Nutshell on Popular Products, the Heinz edition. There's all kind of facts about Heinz and Heinz ketchup in here. There's also Knowledge in a Nutshell on sports and just plain old knowledge in a nutshell. And the man who wrote this book is Charles Richbloom from Pittsburgh. I had a chance to speak with him on the phone last week. Here's my interview with him. So the books are part of this Knowledge in a Nutshell series, and in front of me I have Knowledge in a Nutshell in sports, the original Knowledge in a Nutshell, and then Knowledge in a Nutshell on the Heinz products. So where did this whole idea come from of even doing the Knowledge in a Nutshell idea?
Well, Mark, I worked for a radio station when I was a teenager. I was an intern. My job was to clear the newswire every night. That's when they had the old teletypes.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to save anything that I thought was surprising or fascinating or interesting, and I started building up a collection of interesting facts and stories. And then after school, I went into business syndicating this to newspapers around the country. And over the years, people said, why don't you put that stuff in a book? And Knowledge in a Nutshell, the Knowledge in a Nutshell series is the result. It's really a 50-year collection of fun facts and stories. It makes learning fun. We have everything in Knowledge in a Nutshell, from presidents to history to geography to movies to music to health to money. Really everything except sports. And then we have all the interesting sports stories in Knowledge in a Nutshell on sports. And the third book we did, it's really the fun food facts. It's Knowledge in a Nutshell on Popular Products, the Heinz edition. We talk about some of the Heinz products, like how ketchup started and things like that, in addition to other fun food facts.
So this all started, back at WJAS in Pittsburgh? Is that what it was?
That's right, way back in the 1940s. Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
That's interesting. So, I mean, are you like a walking fact book then? I mean, can I say, if I look up something in the book right now, can I say, tell me the answer to this? I mean, are you able to do that? And I bet
not always, Mark. You know, when writing, of course, you have everything in front of you, and of course, a lot of it I remember simply because I wrote it and I've had it, and I've researched everything. I always double check everything that's in there in several sources, so I'm pretty conversant with most of it. But on the other hand, I don't have a photographic memory.
Give us an example then of something that's in there that it is a lot of trivia information. But give us, one example of something that we might be surprised to know.
Okay, there was one man who was on the scene when 3 different U.S. presidents were assassinated, which is really incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Robert Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln's son, and he was with Abraham Lincoln when he was shot in 1865, right after the the shot was fired at Abraham Lincoln. And then 16 years later, Robert Lincoln had become Secretary of War under President Garfield. And the cabinet went down to bid Garfield goodbye at the Washington Railroad station. He was leaving on a trip to see his ailing wife in New Jersey. And that's where Garfield was shot, at the railroad station. And Robert Lincoln was standing about 2 feet away from him when Garfield was shot. And then by an amazing coincidence, 20 years later, in 1901, by that time Robert Lincoln had become president of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. There was a business exposition in Buffalo, and President McKinley invited Robert Lincoln to come to the business exposition, since he was head of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. And just as Robert Lincoln walked in the exhibition hall, there was a receiving line, and that's where McKinley was shot. So he was on the scene when 3 different presidents were assassinated, and he vowed after that, he lived till 1926, by the way, he vowed he never again would get anywhere near president. He never went to Washington, D.C. the rest of his life. And he considered himself something of a jinx, which I guess he was.
Fascinating. So obviously, I mean, you couldn't have gotten all this information from the wire machine at WGA.
Oh, no, that was just the start of the
where are you finding this stuff? Obviously, the story you just told us is not something a lot of people are aware of.
Well,
so where do you find stories? Where do you find this information?
Well, when you're really on the lookout for things like that, from almost any source, newspapers. My wife kids me, I've read 3 encyclopedias cover to cover.
Oh, my heavens.
Over the years. That took a long time. But, things pop out at you that are surprising or fascinating or interesting. And then sometimes you're looking up something and that leads to something else, and you see something there, hey, that's kind of interesting. Then when you do some research on it, you find a great story. Very much just the other day, and this is in the book, we have a music section on God Bless America, the song, and I just found out one other fact about that. But in the book, we tell the story about how Irving Berlin wrote God Bless America in 1918 for a Broadway show, but the show was running long during rehearsals, and they cut the song God Bless America out of the show. It was never sung. And Irving Berlin put the sheet music in the bottom desk drawer that he had and really forgot about the song. And 20 years later, Kate Smith, who had a network radio program, asked Berlin for a patriotic song. It was getting near the start of World War II. And Berlin dug in his desk and pulled out the music, gave it to Kate Smith, who introduced it on radio, and it became a big hit. But the amazing story there is that song was unsung, never heard for 20 years after it was written. And had Kate Smith not asked him for a song, for a patriotic song, we might never have heard God Bless America. Berlin might well have just left it in his desk and forgot about it, which he had over all those years. Then I just saw a story the other day, for example, that he was so inspired himself by that song, Irving Berlin. He was a Russian immigrant who came to this country as a poor boy. When he was about 5, 6 years old, did not have much schooling, sold newspapers on the street. He really felt that God Bless America feeling in the song, and because of that, he never took any royalties from that song. He donated everything that song ever made to the Boys Scouts and Girl Scouts, and he never took any money from it the rest of his life.
Some fascinating facts from you. We can get them in the book. Tell us how we can get the book.
Well, the easiest way is to call 1-800-NUTSHELL, and that way you can get an autographed copy. But by the way, the books are $7.50, Knowledge in a Nutshell, and $9.50 for Knowledge in a Nutshell in sports and Knowledge in a Nutshell in popular products. That's 1-800-NUTSHELL. You can also go to Amazon on the web. Some stores have it, some don't. You never know. So the easiest way really is to call 1-800-NUTSHELL.
Cool. So here's the books again, Knowledge in a Nutshell on sports and on popular products, the Heinz edition. Some neat stuff in there. We're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back to wrap things up.
Violence. We're stronger than you. You can't hold us back. Violence. We know what it takes to blow past you.
And violence, we're just getting going.
On September 11th, America faced terrorist attacks of the worst kind. Innocent lives were lost, and a sad cloud was cast over this great nation. These acts were intended to cause fear among all Americans, including our children. But we cannot let that happen. There are things we can do to help our kids. Talk with them, listen to them, tell them they're safe and they're loved. God bless you, and God bless America.
It may not look like it when you're watching the future of the Earth pass by, because many of these products are made from materials you've been recycling. But to keep recycling working, you need to buy products made from recycled materials. For all those next in line, it would mean the world to them.
Take Simmons.
Yeah. Give me Jones.
Lightfoot.
Bishop.
Hernandez.
Harris. Lavender.
Pete.
Yes.
In the game of life, you've got a much better chance of getting picked for a cruise with great pay if you take algebra, geometry, and calculus. You need to know how math can improve your future. Demand it. Call Anatomy. We'll tell you.
Welcome back to Feedback. I'd like to thank my guest from tonight, Claire Heidler from Clarion University Facilities Planning, for giving us the update on the library. Kind of neat. We will be seeing it beginning next year. They'll be starting the move over the break. Also, Charles Richroom, thank him for joining us. The Knowledge in a Nutshell series. Once again, the number is 1-800-NUTSHELL. Tomorrow night it is not a new show. We're going to be re-airing the show that you saw last week, actually. Lisa Hindmarsh was performing with the Clarion University Jazz Band. We will be re-airing that tomorrow night at 7:30. Stay tuned. TV5 News is coming up next.